Welcome back to Kindness Stories, the channel where we remind you that a single act of compassion can change the course of someone's life. Here, we celebrate stories that restore our faith in humanity and show us the power of love, empathy, and kindness. If you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a story that might just change your day. Now, let's begin today's story. Asterisk gets started in a small town tucked between mountains and rivers, a place where everyone knew each other's name, and secrets had a way of traveling faster than the wind. In this town lived a teenage girl named Clara. She was quiet, a bit shy, and often found solace in her books and the company of her dog Max rather than her classmates. Clara wasn't unpopular, just invisible. The kind of girl who teachers liked because she never made trouble, and students forgot existed until they needed help with homework. Clara's life changed one cold autumn morning when her class was assigned a group project. The topic was empathy and community service. For someone like Clara, who usually worked alone, the idea of group work was already anxiety-inducing. Her teacher, Mrs. Saunders, announced the groups randomly, hoping to encourage students to work with people outside their usual circles. Clara was paired with three of the most popular students in school, Emma, Ryan, and Jake. Emma was the queen bee of the school. Her smile could charm teachers, and her Instagram stories had a cult following. Ryan was the star, athlete, always surrounded by friends and fans, while Jake was the class clown, never serious, always sarcastic. Together, they were the trio everyone admired and feared. When Clara approached the group, her voice was barely above a whisper. She asked if they had any ideas for the project. Emma didn't even look up from her phone. Ryan shrugged and said, "Whatever, nerd, just write it up, and we'll put our names on it." Clara blinked, caught off guard. Jake added, laughing, "Yeah, make it sound smart so we get in there. You're good at that stuff, right?" Then he gave a wink that didn't feel friendly. That's how it began. Clara, the invisible girl, now became the target of whispered jokes, mocking texts, and exclusion. At school, they made fun of her clothes, called her Miss Lonely Librarian, and laughed about how she probably talked to her dog more than humans. On social media, Clara saw vague posts that weren't direct but stung with cruel accuracy. Despite the meanness, Clara did the project. She wrote the entire report, created the presentation, and even suggested volunteering at the local shelter for an hour to make the project seem authentic. She wanted to complain, to tell the teacher what was going on, but she also didn't want more attention. The last thing she wanted was to be called a tattletale on top of everything else. The day of the presentation came, and Clara stood silently as her group took credit for her work. Ryan read her words with confidence, Emma smiled for the class, and Jake made everyone laugh during the slideshow. Clara watched them with a strange hollowness in her chest. When it was over, they all received an A. Mrs. Saunders even praised the group for their balanced teamwork. After class, Clara walked home with Max, her golden retriever, tears burning in her eyes. She wasn't angry about the grade. She wasn't even angry about the teasing. What hurt most was how easily people could pretend someone like her didn't matter. That night, Clara sat in her room, scrolling through photos of their presentation that Emma had proudly posted online. She looked at the smiles, the joy, the ease with which they shared something they hadn't worked for. Her hands trembled as she closed her laptop. But this is not a story of staying silent. This is where things begin to change. The next week, Clara's mother suggested volunteering at the community center. Clara had always helped out quietly, but this time, her mom encouraged her to run a reading group for younger kids. "You have a gift," she said. "You light up when you're helping people. Use that." Clara hesitated, but something inside her stirred. Maybe she couldn't control how people treated her at school. But here, in this small room with curious young eyes and eager minds, she mattered. She began with 2 kids, then 4, then 10. Clara brought her favorite stories, used voices for the characters, created small crafts and games, and soon, her reading group became the most anticipated weekly event. For the kids at the center. One afternoon, while she was helping a boy named Jordan read his first full book out loud, someone knocked on the door. Clara turned and her heart sank. It was Emma. Emma walked in awkwardly, holding a flyer. "Hey," she said, not meeting Clara's eyes. "I saw this reading program on the community board and thought I might help out for like college applications. I didn't know you ran it. Asterisk Clara stood up, her voice calm but clear. You want to help here? Asterisk Emma nodded. I mean, yeah, if that's okay. Asterisk Clara looked at the kids, then back at Emma. It's not about college apps here. These kids know when someone's not really present. They deserve more than that. Asterisk Emma looked genuinely ashamed. I get it. I do. Look, I know I wasn't fair. I didn't think about how it made you feel. Asterisk Clara said nothing at first. She didn't need to. Emma sat down beside Jordan and asked if she could listen. The boy beamed. Asterisk weeks passed. Emma kept coming. So did Jake and even Ryan. Not for college apps anymore, but because somewhere along the way, they saw something in Clara that they hadn't before. They saw her leadership, her warmth, her quiet strength. They saw how the children adored her, how the room came alive when she read. And they started changing the dot. Asterisk Emma began organizing weekend crafts. Jake, who turned out to be amazing at drawing, started sketching comics with the kids. Ryan taught them soccer on the nearby field. And Clara, she became the heart of it all. Asterisk the transformation didn't happen overnight. Clara had her doubts, and the others had to prove their sincerity again and again. But one moment defined it all. Asterisk during a school assembly about community impact. The principal called Clara up to the stage. She was confused. Then she saw the video. Asterisk a compilation played of her reading to the children, organizing events, leading activities, footage taken secretly by the volunteers and the community center director. At the end, the principal announced that Clara had been nominated for a National Youth Leadership Award. Asterisk the entire auditorium stood and clapped. Clara, red-faced and overwhelmed, looked to the side and saw Emma, Jake, and Ryan in the front row, cheering louder than anyone else. Asterisk later, Emma hugged her and said, "You taught us more than any class ever could. You didn't just forgive us. You showed us how to be better." Asterisk Clara smiled. Kindness isn't weakness. It's a choice, a powerful one. Asterisk, and that's exactly what this story is about. Asterisk Clara never asked for revenge or justice. She didn't expose anyone or make a scene. She chose kindness, not because it was easy, but because it was right. And through that choice, she not only transformed herself, she transformed everyone around her. Asterisk years later, Clara became a teacher. Emma became a social worker. Jake wrote children's books. Ryan coached at Trisk Youth in sports. They often met for coffee, reminiscing about the time a quiet girl taught them all the greatest lesson of their lives. Asterisk because kindness, real kindness, doesn't shout. It doesn't punish. It doesn't seek applause. It simply shows up, quietly, gently, and changes the world. Asterisk, thank you for watching Kindness Stories. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Remember, someone out there might need your kindness today. Be that light. Until next time, stay kind. Asterisk.